such a thing. I really believe this is laying it on too thick, no matter how great a sports thing can be. Whether that's a team, a coach, or even the most beloved of all, the athletes. But I'm sorry. I'm going to do that in 2025 for the truly great Andrew McCutchen. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 5, Marlins 2. That's 2 out of 3 in that series. And that's 5 out of 6 overall, going back to the unlikely, but it did happen, sweep of the Phillies over the weekend. Bailey Falter pitched well again, 5 1/3 innings, 1 run, 5 hits. Got some good relief after Braxton Ashcraft had his first struggles. Dennis Santana, Caleb Ferguson, and David Bednar all putting up zeros. Get Brian Hayes with a couple of hits, a couple of steals, but Cutch, man, 3-run homer. And infinitely more noteworthy, his 241st in a Pittsburgh uniform. He's got 325 overall. But this one, within the Pirates context, passed Roberto Clemente for 3rd on the franchise list. And here's what you're going to get from Cutch after something like that. Listen to him carefully. This is the beginning of his little press gathering yesterday at PNC Park.
I'm more excited about the win than that, but because could have done it and lost, and cool. But to get the win and do it, it definitely helps you appreciate it a little more. So it was cool. I haven't thought about it. I don't know. It's just so fresh. I'm just happy that I was able to do it here at home.
And he's not lying there. He's not blowing smoke. In the moment, it always feels bigger. They'll all tell you this within a win, even though nobody will remember, even months from now, whether or not the team won that game. They will remember, passing Roberto Clemente on a franchise list. But you're in the moment. You just went through all your teammates freaking out in the clubhouse to honor you the way the Pirates tend to do. They line up inside the clubhouse, and as the doors open, they go all woo-woo and jumping up and down and everything. That does matter. That is what you're thinking about. Let me share with you something else. This was something that Cutch was sharing with me a few weeks ago on a road trip. He is aware of where he stands in franchise history. He gets the daily reminders, and the team does issue them, about his pending milestones, where he stands on this list or that list. So now I'm going to revisit those numbers that I already put forth here. He's got 241 home runs with the Pirates. He's got 325 overall. So he hit a lot of home runs in other uniforms. Had he hit all of those, playing for the only franchise he ever actually wanted to play for, he'd obviously be 24 home runs ahead of the Hall of Famer Kiner. Now, Kiner played a lot of his career elsewhere too, and I'm not about to get into power comparisons between him and Kiner and, of course, Captain Willie. But Cutch has both thought about and talked about how his career trajectory could have been different had he never been traded. Now, I know of virtually nobody who regrets the Cutch trade, if only because it was the one that brought Brian Reynolds. Even Cutch will acknowledge that was a pretty nice return. But there is an alternate reality that I will allow myself to consider at times, and he obviously does as well. That what would it have been like if he was here the entire time? Would we see him any differently? Like, it's impossible to imagine Cutch being more loved and respected in the city than he is. It's hard to imagine an exceptional ball player being so committed to this very non-exceptional in its current state franchise the way he is. But here he is, even in this moment, in front of an announced crowd of 16,709 with the team going nowhere. It still meant something to him. And he said so. Just happy I was able to do it here at home. That's right from him. It meant something to be able to step out of that dugout and doff that cap for the curtain call. I'm not sure, and we're going to have many, many years to come to go over this, but where exactly Cutch stands or ranks in franchise history, here's how I think of him. The Pirates have been around for 144 years now. That's a lot of years. That stretches across 3 separate centuries. To me, Cutch is the unquestioned player of this century for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, I'm not exactly breaking some big ground with that statement, and I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to express that he's got his own place, and he's even got his own team success, at least one window of it, that he was principally responsible for creating. He was the literal National League MVP at the time the Pirates were making those playoff appearances from 2013 to 15. He was the driving force for that 98-win team in 2015 that got hosed by the lousy format that mercifully no longer exists. And imagining tossing on top of that pile everything that he is as a person and as a Pittsburgher. Yeah, great. Truly, truly great. When we come back, J1Q.
If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from John, who says, DK, can you imagine if Ben Cherington had acquired Jazz Chisholm over Brian Dela Cruz at the last trade deadline, or Josh Naylor instead of Spencer Horwitz? Looking at the trade packages actually given for both of those other players, it is not unreasonable to think that the Pirates could have acquired them, and easily so. You are right when you say that Cherington doesn't know talent when it's right underneath his nose. Those 2 players alone might have this team at or above 500. John, there's a part of me that's always a little, I don't know if cringy is the right word, but I'm as open to criticism of this GM as anybody. And I'm open to this criticism. Where I tend to back off a little bit is when we start picking at this transaction or that transaction, which worked out ideally for someone else, because you could do that to anyone at any time for any team, and they might be the best baseball executive on the planet that you could be saying that about. So to attempt to add context to what you're citing, let's get real about this. In Chisholm's case, this is not someone who was new or foreign to the Pirates. They faced him Heck, I don't even know the extent to which that matters in modern analytical baseball, but they saw him. He was right there in front of them. You could see what he could do. And in Naylor's case, specifically, the series that the Pirates played up in Cleveland late last season, I mean, Naylor he was murdering them. And I covered that series up there, and I genuinely don't remember if Cherington was there, but I also, again, don't know that it would have mattered. And sometimes this is why I don't harp against analytics. I'm not an idiot. I'm not anti-math. That's weird. But I do think that a responsible baseball stewardship would involve having your literal and figurative eyes open to any and all forms of information that might come your way. And if one of them is the other player on the other team is beating your brains out, maybe pay attention to him. At least let it raise like some little mini flag to put the analytics people to work. But if your process, and I think this is the larger point, is such that it leads you to the conclusion that Tommy Pham, a player who's got nothing left, a player who tangibly, visibly had nothing left in 2024, is your answer. And he's your answer at roughly the same cost where you could have gotten anybody who's better. Then you have a problem at the top of your structure. It's not just enough to say, well, we really blew it. Our evaluations said this and this and this, and he turned out to be something that we didn't expect, which, by the way, is always Cherington's answer on these fronts, that this wasn't what they expected. This wasn't what their numbers had shown was going to happen. Okay, then back off and figure out what it was that actually happened. Because I can guarantee you that analytically or otherwise, it's never okay to just say the baseball gods are out to get us. That's not very analytical at all. I appreciate the question, John. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to have another one of these tomorrow.